Hello. Does anybody recognize this? Maybe they don't. I had one. I wish I'd kept it actually. Now the only thing I have left is a CD which emulates some of the games which were available in those times with the Sinclair Spectrum, the rubber keypads and pretty pictures and all the function buttons and everything, and all of the books that came with it to teach you how to program computers in machine code. And wow, it was exciting and quite fun. And I remember some of the weird games like Horace Goes Skiing and Chucky Egg and all kinds of funny games. But you know, to load the game you had to put a tape into a machine. You had to load all of the data through a cassette player. Sometimes we had games, I remember adventure games in 1K. Now, today, what can be done in 1K? Almost nothing. 1K is really incredible. I think that you can write a whole game, for example, a game of chess or a game of dominoes in 1K. I defy anybody to do that right now. But this is it, the rubber keyboard. So you can't hear me, can you? I think I should put my headset on because soon there's going to be some big echo in here. So just a moment. There we are, back in again. So please come and join me and let's do some reading. You know, in many ways, I would say in many ways that there were some good things in the past, because who could do that now? Who could write a game in 15K? Who could have a memory pack extension with 15K? Wow, the RAM pack. And let's have a look at some of his other inventions, because some of them were really too far ahead of their time, I think. So, for example, the C5 car. Really, it was a bit too far advanced for the 80s. People were thinking then about not having petrol cars and driving around in cars which, like this one. But this one was a good idea. I think he should have made it a bit bigger though, and a bit more expensive. And today we have electric cars, but the electric cars today are a bit different. You know, the second time round, when the electric cars came, now we have them, they are like normal cars and actually very powerful and just like a normal car, not like this, but these were way back in the first generation of electric cars that I know, the C5. Bit small, maybe a bit dangerous if there's a great big truck rolling down the road next to you. So I think that's why they didn't catch on in a big way at that time. But here we go again with electric cars again now, and I think this time they'll stay. So, hello everybody. Hi there. Who's going to say hello first? Sapri, are you back?
Hi, how are you?
Hi there. Hey, where's that you're? What is that? New York then? What is that?
Yes, my background Manhattan and New Jersey.
And do you work there? Were you there on holiday or were you working?
No working. I'm visiting my brother.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very interesting place.
Yeah, thanks.
I see that Badra is on Skype there. Are you also in the room with us?
I'm sorry?
Are you in the, I'm speaking to Badra as well. So I heard he was on Skype there. I could hear the...
Yeah.
So he's here with us as well. Enrique, are you from Brazil? As well. So
No, I'm from Colombia.
Yeah.
Somebody has got their Verbling chat open, I'm sure.
Are you from Brazil?
Bet my life on it. Someone's got their Verbling chat open. Badra, is it your Verbling chat room open? Because yeah, it's gone. It's gone. Good, good. That's better. Great. So then, let's go to the beginning of this page and start reading this. There he is, the C5 electric car man, the Spectrum. So, does anybody know anything about this? Can anybody tell me what they know about it? Anybody heard of any of these things? Maybe they weren't popular outside Britain. Maybe they weren't very popular around the world. But I think this computer was really great because around about this time in the 80s, there was a computer in every house. So he really kind of pushed computing forward, I think. Even though it was really without a monitor. Do you know what the monitor was?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, did you have one of these or something like this? What was the monitor? What did people use for these kind of machines for a monitor?
LCD?
No, there was no LCD on them. Well, I think there wasn't. There was a kind of LCD on one of these computers, yes, but generally people wanted some nice color, and so they didn't use an LCD to play games, for example, and they used a TV set.
Okay.
Yeah, they plugged in the TV. Okay, is the text big enough? Can you read the text? Shall I make it bigger? Is it okay? The text?
Okay.
It is okay.
Yeah, I sometimes need the text a bit bigger because I like big text on the screen. I just have a small screen here. Right, so let's start off reading then. So Badra, can you start reading the first paragraph there?
Okay. By far the most famous and successful of his many products, the ZX Spectrum earned Cleve Sinclair a fortune, a knighthood.
A knighthood. Do you know what this means? If you are given a knighthood,
A knighthood.
you may have seen it on TV.
Service.
What is it?
Yeah. I think like a movie.
Well, you might have seen it on a movie, but it happens in real life. To some people, they get this.
Like Robin Hood.
I don't know if Robin Hood, maybe he was, sir, but you get the title, sir, and so
Nice color.
Paul McCartney got one, for one thing. You know Paul McCartney?
Yes.
He was Sir Paul McCartney because he was knighted. What happens if you are knighted?
To get a title?
The title from the king.
Yeah, you do. You get a title and you kneel down and the sword comes out and the sword goes on your shoulder, left, right, and the monarch, who will be the queen now, says, I dub ye Sir, and then your name, and you get a special honour of being a knight. So he got this honour. I think John Lennon objected to his, but Paul McCartney didn't. Paul McCartney kept his, but some people occasionally don't want it. I think John Lennon rejected his, I think. Okay, so that's that. So, and by the way, when you read these words, you've got knighthood and products and most. Remember that word most is like most, not most, but most. So can you read on a bit more there, please? We only read up to a knighthood. Let's read on past that, please. Badra, can you read a bit more because you only just started? Still here?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just looking for Badra, but he seems to have disappeared a moment. So,
Brother?
Yeah,
I
okay.
mean, yeah, you're back. You're back. Okay. So you got as far as knighthood. So let's read on the rest of the first paragraph.
Okay. A knighthood for a service to British industry, and the lasting place in the national consciousness. Huge
Consciousness.
Consciousness.
Yeah, the consciousness. You know, this means the way people are thinking and the thoughts and minds of the people, hearts and minds, the consciousness. Shall we go on then?
Okay, I will complete.
Yeah, read it all. It's not too much, is it?
In the national consciousness, huge numbers of spectrum were sold around the world, making it by some way the more successful British computer ever made. Sinclair's standing arose of a high that in 1983 Margaret Thatcher personally presented the spectrum to the Japanese Prime Minister as a symbol of British technological prowess, although this turned out to be more of a symbol of a Thatcherite hubris.
Yeah, okay. So let me have a look at some words here. So we've got some words like prowess. That's an interesting word. We'll think about that word. And the other word that I was looking at there, huge, that's interesting. Consciousness. And now I'd like you to take a look at all of these words, choose an interesting word and describe it for us to guess. Can you just find any word that you like and just speak about it, and then we will guess which word you're speaking about. So look around, find an interesting word, and then just say something about it, describe it to us. Do you have any idea of which word you could speak about? Shall I do one first, Badra?
Leon.
Yeah?
Hubris mean arrogance.
Prowess is not really arrogance. Are you speaking about prowess? Which word did you say?
Hubris.
Yeah, that's an interesting word, isn't it? Have you found it in a dictionary? Let me have a look for that word, because that word is quite unusual. We don't see that every day, do we? So let me find a dictionary definition. So I don't use this word very much. Well, it's
self-confidence.
Maybe it's related to it, but it's something. All of these words are more to do with pride. But I suppose if you're too proud, then it starts to get close to arrogance, maybe. So it's being too proud, and it's, you know, proud beyond normal proud. So yeah, I suppose I would say it's not really arrogance. Arrogance, it's more irritating, because, you know, you like people to be a little bit proud of themselves, but when they feel that they're the greatest and they're so proud, then I suppose it's a kind of arrogance in a way, yes. Yeah, interesting. So maybe you're right. Maybe you could say it is. Hubris might be called a kind of arrogance, but it's not a word you meet every day. So, Badra, you're going to describe a word from paragraph 1.
Okay, which word?
Any word. You choose a word. When we read, we usually read a paragraph, speak about the meaning of the words, and speak about the pronunciation. So I pointed out to you that we should say most famous, and not most, but most famous. You choose any word, so find one that's quite interesting if you like, or any word you like, and then describe it to us, and we have to guess which word it is.
Okay. Sorry, one moment, please.
You're thinking, aren't you? Okay. You could even look up in the dictionary to help you if you like. We've spoken a bit about one or two of the words. You could choose the same word again, or you could find another word.
Well, it's a range of color as seen in a rainbow.
Ah, yeah, like on the actual machine itself. And the name of it.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
what you say the name is?
It's the actual product name.
Yeah.
It's-
Okay.
It's the name of the product, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
So, but usually it's not a product name. It's a full range of something. Actually, it can be the full range of anything, can't it? So, do you know when this word is used, and it's nothing to do with light? Sometimes this word is used, and it's nothing to do with light.
Yeah. I think like when we say everything or including everything.
Yeah, we could say the full spectrum, and we can be speaking about all kinds of different things, and it's not always related to light. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's this product name is called the spectrum, and it's usually we get a spectrum if we shine light into something, and the white light is shone into something, and it splits up into the different colors of the spectrum. What is that piece of glass called that we shine the light into? It sounds like a jail. You know, if you're sent to jail, go to jail. There's another word which sounds a bit like that, or a kind of jail, and it's a piece of glass that you shine the light into. Do you
Yeah.
know the word? Does anybody know the word I mean?
Which word, Leon?
Well, it sounds like another word for jail, but it's used by scientists. They shine a light, a white light beam into it, and it splits up because of the different refractive index of different pieces of different colours. Yes, the prism. Prism, that's the word I was looking for. Prism and not prison. So, Enrique, are you here as well? Are you in the room on the mic?
Yes, yes. I am
Yeah,
here.
so let's go over to the next paragraph then. Paragraph 2.
Okay. The C5 electric car, the Sinclair C5, was first launched in the UK on the 10th January 1985, created by the innovator and inventor Sir Clive Sinclair, most famous for his CX80 and CX81 personal computer from 1980. The C5 was a revolutionary electric vehicle.
Vehicle, say that word. It's a tricky word, that word. Vehicle, yeah.
Weighed in at just 1990 pounds. The vehicle used 33.
Yeah, do you know what the LB is there? LB is a unit of measurement of weight.
Libras.
Yeah, but that's not the
Oh.
English word.
Pounds.
No?
Yes, pounds.
Yes. The vehicle used a 30 pounds lead acid.
It's not
Oh,
lead, it's another kind of metal. It looks like lead, but the pronunciation is different for the metal, which is used when
Lead.
you go fishing, lead.
Lead acid or acid? Acid. acid battery that powered to 250 watts. However, electric motor similar to those found in washing machines, as the C5 was created to fall in line with the 1983 electrically assisted pedal cycle regulations. This ruled that the vehicle's engine could not exceed
Engine. Say engine, not engine, and so engine
engine
and exceed.
could not exceed 250 watts in power. This therefore gave the C5 a top speed of 15 mph with a claimed.
Do you know what
20 miles.
mph is? Some
Yes.
people they don't usually say mph. They say this
Mile per hour.
miles per hour. Yes, miles per hour.
Miles per hour with a claimed 20 miles battery life in between charges. The vehicle also had pedals for extra assistance up hills.
Yeah, so you see that this was quite ahead of its time, but I think they did the wrong marketing really, because this was not successful. The Spectrum was a massive success. This was a bit of a failure really. I know when I lived where I lived at this time, there were only a couple of people who had one in the streets around, and today I think they're marketing electric cars in the right way. So we will all have electric cars for sure, and they're all flooding the streets now. So, but in those days they weren't, because they were really a little bit risky, and they were cheap and looked like a Christmas cracker toy really. They weren't serious enough. So I think now the new electric cars look like, well, they are real cars. They look great. But now we just need the price to come down a bit, because not many people can afford them. I still drive a petrol car now, so I'll get my electric car in maybe 2 or 3 years' time when everybody can get one. But they're a bit expensive at the moment. But they do work, like they perform very well. They do very well. But these cars, very economical and just like a little toy, really. So, do you think you would choose to buy one, drive a car like this? Would you drive one?
No.
No,
No,
it doesn't look
maybe,
serious.
No.
What's the problem with it, do you think?
Nowadays, Leon,
Well, in the 80s, maybe nowadays, would you drive one now? Is it the same?
In the
I don't
80s,
think
maybe.
things have changed that much, really. But
but
would you drive one now?
there are very fast traffic on the way, Leon. It is not safe to use.
Yeah, there's too many old-fashioned cars on the road. There's too many petrol cars on the road and big lorries and trucks, so it's not safe. So we have to use the modern electric cars, which are pretty much the same as an ordinary petrol car. But these cars are not safe. They need a special bicycle track, I think. So I agree with you. I wouldn't use one. Okay, let's move on and see what's next. No, we haven't done your word. You've got to have a look for a word there, please. An interesting word. Choose a nice, interesting word there, and then describe it for us, and we will guess which word you're speaking about.
I think launch.
Well, you can't do that now because launched, you've just told us the answer. You have to choose one which you haven't told us the answer, and we have to guess it. So launching the product, launch is not good now because you told us. Can you find another word? Are there any more interesting words?
Something that change the business or change the thought on people.
I think I know what you mean. Yes, I think I've got your word. Does anybody have his word? I think I know. It means things are maybe changing, turning round a bit. Does anyone want to guess the word, or shall I say my guess? Okay, I'll say my
Revolution?
guess then. Revolutionary, that's my word too. Revolutionary. Is that the right one?
Yes.
Yeah. A revolutionary electric vehicle weighing in at just £99. Weighing in at, that's an interesting expression. Where do we normally see this expression, weighing in at? Weighing in. It's a little bit figurative here, a little bit metaphorical, but we see this expression in another context sometimes. I'm thinking about boxing matches and things like that at the weigh-in. Okay, let's move on then. So, next.
We can say commotion.
Commotion where?
Yeah.
A commotion is usually some kind of heated discussion or debate.
It's not synonym of revolution.
Well, I think a commotion is, let me look it up, because if I hear the word commotion, the first meaning that comes to my mind is a lot of people, you know, making noise about something, a commotion. So let me find it and see what the Cambridge Dictionary says. I don't think it's so much like a revolution. Commotion. A sudden short period of noise, confusion or excited movement. His arrival caused quite a commotion. He looked up to see what all the commotion was about. So commotion is more like, whoa, whoa, what's going on here? Yeah, see this, whoa. You know, when a lot of fuss, really, commotion.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, Ishmael, can you go on and take over? Well, I think they're short, so maybe, well, just a moment. We've got two headings, the C5 electric car, haven't we? We've got that one and that one, but never mind, it's different text. So perhaps we could read on all of that text there. Let's start with Sir Clive Sinclair.
Okay, no. Sir Clive Sinclair was a very rich, eccentric genius who amassed a fortune in the manufacture of revolutionary, indeed visionary, electronic devices and products. These include calculators, watches, meters, pocket TVs, 1975, microcomputers, 1980, and home computers, 1982, when computers were still in dedicated rooms.
Right, okay, well, just before you go on, I want you to read the rest, but before you go on, let me highlight some words to check the pronunciation here. So, how do we say this in English?
Microcomputer.
Yeah, micro, yes, and this word, amassed a fortune. Okay, and where's the stress on this word?
Calculators.
Well, yours is on the third syllable, but I think that's not the best place for it. So, can you change the stress pattern? It's just a normal kind of stress pattern. So when we say normal, I think that means the first syllable, like calculators.
Calculators.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better. Yeah. So now let's go on to this part here as well. We'll put it all together.
Okay. The C5 electric car. Like TV and computers, the idea of producing an electric vehicle had been a constant preoccupation for him. In the 70s, ecological issues were in the forefront, and the British government passed legislation that allowed electric-assisted cycles to be used without a license as long as they didn't exceed 15 miles per hour.
Yeah, so that might have been another problem, because 15 miles per hour is really slow, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So now, yeah, another thing I'd like to say is this word is interesting, because actually all words that begin with calm and con, not all words, but most of these words are not stressed at the beginning. let's have a look at this word. Here's another one there. Constant. That one is stressed at the beginning. You have concrete, constant, combat. They are stressed at the beginning. But most of these words are stressed on the second syllable. It's a general pattern, I notice. We say computers. So the pute is the stress. And conditional, complete. So you see lots of these words have a second syllable stress. And one good way, easy way to do that second syllable stress is to unstress this vowel. So instead of saying computers with an O sound, computers, that's quite good. If you can do that, that's good. But most people will unstress that sound completely and they will say computers, like that, computers. And that helps you to get the stress on the second part. So if you say conditional, I think it's easier to get the stress pattern if you say conditional. If you say con, then before you know it, you've stressed it. You know, like conditional, and it sounds wrong. But if you say con quietly, then it's harder. Conditional. You can do it. Conditional. Conditional. But a lot of people just say conditional, and that helps them to do this because the pattern of the words is probably more important sometimes than whether it's R or at the beginning. Just the pattern of the word is more important. Okay, so now I would like you to search through all of those words there and find a word to describe to us.
I want to describe a word. When we talk about feature and for example, there are some futurists, they are telling from the future and they are talking about us and give some advice. We are going to be lucky in a business, or which business should we go in.
Ah, something to do with seeing, isn't it? Something about seeing.
Legislation?
That's not the word I'm looking at.
These people is blah blah teller.
Like a fortune teller.
Yeah, yes.
And here it's an adjective. To describing somebody who can see very well how things are going to turn out in the future.
Ecological, I think.
Well, ecological is... when I saw about ecology here, I remember there was a plant a tree in '73, and they gave all us kids a little spade and trees to plant. But that's ecology is something else. But there's a word there, looking into the future and being able to see the future clearly. Anybody got it?
Preoccupation.
I think his word is visionary.
Vision. Ah, okay, vision. Something
Am I
talk
right?
about
Is
the
it
future.
visionary?
No.
Maybe it's
No,
not. Maybe it's...
I try to explain fortune.
Fortune. Oh, okay, fortune. That's looking into the future. Another way, yes, to see that you'll be lucky. Then, yes. Okay. All right then. So it wasn't
or fortune.
fortune. Yeah. Where is the word fortune? Amassed a fortune. So this fortune is money, or amassed a fortune, made a fortune, amassed a fortune. Usually people speak about making a fortune. Yeah.
Sorry, what is that word?
Fortune is right in the first line. Sir Clive Sinclair was a very rich, eccentric genius who amassed a fortune in the manufacture of revolutionary, indeed visionary, electronic devices and products. So if you amass a fortune, usually make a fortune, it means that you earn a lot of money. A fortune is a lot of money. So fortunate means lucky, but a fortune is usually a lot of money. Eccentric. Eccentric. What does eccentric mean?
Eccentric.
Not eccentric.
If you are eccentric, then
You are open.
a bit different to other people. A bit unique, individual.
Unusual person.
Yes, you go your own way. You don't care what other people say, and you don't follow the crowd. So you're not a follower, really. That's very interesting about following, people who follow and people who go their own way. Especially with young people, because sometimes I've noticed people who are really individuals who go their own way are sometimes thought of in a bit of a negative way by some people, and there are some words which are used to almost criticize people who do this. For example, I don't really like a word which has been coming around for 2 or 3 decades now. A word. Have you heard the word geek? Geek. You know this word geek? I shouldn't even type it because I really don't like this word very much.
Technological geek. Like,
You know, geek. Yeah, geek is a kind of word, I think, that is used to describe people who are often really quite individual in the way they behave and the way they think. And some people who call people geeks are really
geeks.
followers of fashion and followers of normality. And so I feel I don't like this word geek. I think geek is really a kind of negative word, I feel sometimes. Some people don't take it in that way, but I feel it's a bit negative sometimes. Right, let's go on. Marden, let's move the screen down a bit here. Here we go. Look, there's a big car coming up behind you, and you can only do 15 miles per hour, and a great big four-wheel drive thing is going to hit you. So, what do you do? Well, I don't know. Go and buy another car, maybe. So, Marden, can you read on for us?
Alright. Sinclair's directors were critical of spending corporate money on this type of research, so Sir Clive sold a small fraction of his company shares, which netted £12 million for the cause. The chassis, is that right?
Chassis, that's the, you know this, do you know this word chassis? Chassis
No.
numbers go on vehicles sometimes. What is the chassis of a car?
I don't know. Chassis,
It's a
what-
big chunk of metal which it's based on, the base of it, you know. So usually
The body, metal body.
the body goes on top of the chassis, so you kind of put together 2 parts of a car usually.
Alright.
So the chassis is attached to all of the wheels and everything and the axles, but the body goes on separately. And this word corporate is interesting, spending corporate money, because I think that when we see the ending of a word like this one, with the ATE ending, I think that unless it's a verb, it's going to be pronounced as corporate.
Corporate.
I think only verbs have a kind of 8, like I rate it quite highly. I will estimate the difference and approximate, but the approximate as a noun. A noun I think will be corporate, like a nut. Anyway, we're not finished yet, so can you continue there?
Okay. The chassis design was by Lotus, the motor by Polymotor, and the polypropylene body, the largest one-piece injection molding ever made at the time. After negotiations for the former, the Lorraine plant failed. The C5 was built in a Hoover factory in Wales.
Yeah, so this DeLorean was, they were turning out some big expensive cars, but it didn't work out in the end. They had some government grant money because at that time Northern Ireland was a difficult place to work. Do you know why in Mrs. Thatcher's time Northern Ireland was a difficult place to set up a business?
No, why?
Well,
Because
why?
Oh,
Ishmael,
there
you
was
know,
a riot.
there were political problems there,
Yes.
which stem all the way back from Henry VIII, actually. Henry VIII caused a lot of trouble because he split from Rome, and then we had the Anglican Church, the Protestants, and then half of the British Isles were Catholic, and the other half, following Henry VIII, went into the Protestant Church. So for a long time, even today, we have problems because of it. And yeah, there were quite a lot of problems in Northern Ireland. Tony Blair managed to defuse a lot of the trouble in Northern Ireland, but in that time they had no good business there because there were too many problems, bombs going off and things. So businesses that set up there had some special grant money from the government. What is that word, Marden, that word moulding? Injection moulding. Any idea what that is?
That frame molding. I mean,
If something is a moulding, then what kind of process? Can you describe a little how a moulding works, or a mould? You know, people use it in cookery for jelly. Do you know this? Jelly in making sweet.
yeah, I know. I think it's just for designing some sweet things.
So what's the technique of a mould?
I mean, it's just thing that you're used to make sweet in some kinds, in some forms, shapes. You know, it's used to form something, make it shape.
So you have a kind of container which you put something in,
We are
and
heating.
that makes the shape of it. And then what does the jelly do? First you put the jelly into the mold, or you put some plastic into the mold here, and the plastic is very fluid when it goes into the mold, and you inject it with pressure so that it fills the mold. And what does the material inside the mold do before the mold can be removed? What must the material do inside the mold before it's safe to take it off? And then you take the mold away only when what has happened, when the substance has done something. What does it do?
The material should become the container shape.
Yes, and it should become in what state?
In a solid state.
Yes, and there's one verb, one short three-letter word for this. So let's talk about jelly again. Bum 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 before. Yeah, I'll send you the page link. So what is my word there? Go hard into a solid state. One word. And it collocates with the word jet to mean those kind of rich people who are always running around on jets and spending vast amounts of money. They are the jet what? And it also goes with chess. If you have all of the pieces in a chess, or you have lots of cups and saucers, you make a tea. Hey, I can't tell you the answer now because I've given you too many clues, and somebody needs to get this word. So, a collection of chess pieces make a chess what? And it's a verb to mean go hard. Set. Thank you. Whew, I thought I was, I don't like giving away the answers once I've got that far into it. Okay, here's another question then. Mould. We've spoken about one kind of mould. What other kind of mould is there that's usually green?
Mold, maybe metal, hot metal, taking hot metal.
Yeah, but there's another kind of mould which grows. What is that?
Grounds.
If I say something is mouldy, then it's not a jelly, it's something growing. What is it? Mould, like fungus, some kind of mould growing on the wet cloth. A damp towel that's left in a damp place and not cleaned. And actually, jam, if you leave the lid off a jam jar for a long time, you get some kind of white mould developing on it. Okay, can you choose a word there then, please? You read that paragraph. Could you choose a nice word to describe to us all?
Okay.
Ishmael, were you the reader last time?
I couldn't understand, Leon. Could you?
Yeah, I'd like you just choose a word from the screen there, one word from the text there, and try to describe it for us.
Okay. When we talk about stocks of a firm, which are buying and selling, especially in the stock exchange, what we call it instead of stocks of a firm.
Okay, let's see. We've got some text about this. We can see corporate money on this type of research, spending corporate money. Yeah, there's another word which always goes with stocks. They say stocks and. Yes, I see. And this word is actually, both of these words are verbs. And this word means to divide it up equally among other people, or at least divide it properly, as you should. Yeah, can you see the word, anybody? What's the word? It goes with stocks. The stock market, stocks and... Okay, shares is the answer, isn't it? Shares, stocks and shares.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's move on. So, Sabri, are you ready there to read?
Okay.
Good, thanks.
Too much publicized.
Publicized, the much publicized launch.
The much publicized launch was an unqualified. I'm sorry.
Unqualified.
Unqualified disaster. It was held in the middle of winter, and the C5's bodies skated on the snow.
Skated, like train, skated.
Skated on the snow. The press were Merciless,
Yeah, merciless. Yes.
merciless, safety and advantage standard.
Advertising.
Oğlum bir saniye. Organizers got involved sales and predictions with and the company was
What's that word there? Let's have a look at that word there, and because it knows, and then jumping into the water, dived. Do you think? Can you understand what that might mean? Nosedived. What do you think that means there?
Nosedived.
Is it go up or go down?
Nosedived.
If you nosedive, do you go up or down?
I don't know.
Go down.
Diving is down. If you dive into the water, don't you? You dive. It dived down. So nosedived is like boom, head first, very fast drop. So sales and production nosedived. And the rest?
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Let's go on.
And the company was wound up in October of the same year with a unfreezed slave out of bucket sum 80.6 million pounds.
Yeah, there's a phrasal verb here to mean that they decided to just finish off everything as best they could and stop trading. So which phrasal verb is there here to mean this? To mean they decided not to continue, but they would just finish up everything and round it all off and stop.
Oğlum uzun bak oynamam bak. Tamam mı? Şunu bitireyim ondan sonra. Tamam mı? I'm sorry.
Ask her to read it.
I'm sorry. My son, I'm playing.
They're reading it for you, are they?
Okay.
So what's the phrasal verb, everybody, which means to just stop trading and finish up everything and stop?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Can you see the word?
Unphased out.
I'm looking at to wind up something. Now this
Wind up.
verb, wind up, here, this shows that phrasal verbs need to go in context. We need to understand them by what they're saying in the text. So here, wound up, and the company was wound up in October of the same year. But what else can wind up mean? If you are wound up, or somebody winds you up, does it mean they will make you stop or close you down?
Maybe lose something.
Finish something.
Has anyone heard somebody say, "You're winding me up," or "It's a wind-up"? So here they're closing something down. The company was wound up. I'd like you to wind up your affairs. You know, just finish off everything that we're doing here and just close down the whole thing. So that's wound up now. But if somebody says, "I think you're winding me up," what could it mean? If somebody's winding you up. No idea? I think Hadeen might know this one. Hanina, are you there? Anybody?
Yes.
I'm asking a question about the text here because we've got a phrasal verb here, wound up, and can you see the words wound up? The company was wound up at the top of the page there, and the company was wound up in October of the same year. And we were saying this means the company was finished and they just made sure everything was complete and then they stopped. They stopped trading. And now I'm asking about another meaning of wind up. If somebody says, I think you're winding me up.
Maybe you nervous me. I don't like you, for example.
No, it's according to some. For example, when products are going to be damaged, the
Damaged?
company, yes, or the date or the duration of of their use is going to finish, the company will wind up.
Will wind up. Yes, that's what it means in the text. That's what it means here in the text. It means the company stopped trading and they wound it up, means they completed all of the accounts and all of the trading that they have to do, paid off everybody who they could, and then stopped. But if I say to somebody, I think you're winding me up, I don't mean that they're going to stop. No.
Maybe wait. If I wind up someone, maybe I pretend of being busy, to not to disturb me. Yes.
What I mean, and this shows how phrasal verbs can change their meaning. Some phrasal verbs have lots of different meanings and different subtle differences in their meaning. But if I say to you, you say something, and I don't believe you, and I say, I think you're winding me up, it means that I think you are teasing me or getting me excited about something and it's not true, and so you could be even annoying me a little bit. So if you're winding me up, you could be treating me like I'm a clockwork person, and you're winding me up to make me feel a little bit on edge, and I'm a little bit wound up. So it could mean that. So you see, phrasal verbs can have different meanings.
Yes.
So if you are feeling that if somebody is winding you up, they are maybe teasing you about something and trying to get you a bit agitated. Yeah. So Sabri, you read the text there. Did you see any interesting words that you'd like to describe? It's not here now. Okay, I think he's away with his daughters. Yulia, are you there?
Yes, I'm
Hi.
here.
So let's go on then. So the manufacturer, Sinclair Vehicles, we'll read on. So
From day of its launch, the Sinclair C5 came under continuous attack from the media, who criticized it for numerous reasons and said that it should be banned. The main reasons were that due to its low stance on the road, it could not be seen easily by other road users. This also opened up the debate about C5 drivers being at the same level and exhaust pipes from larger vehicles and inhaling their
fumes.
fumes.
Okay, yeah, great. So now look at those words that you've just read. Choose one word and try to describe it for us to guess.
Okay. Criticize. Who? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you have to choose one without telling us, don't you? That's
Okay,
right.
okay.
So choose another.
You decide to traveling and decide which way you will use, and you have a map and search on the map this.
Road.
Yes.
There are some interesting words in this paragraph. So which word means to breathe something in?
Opened up.
Well, I'm breathing in dangerous fumes. Breathing in.
Inhaling.
In Highland.
Inhaling, yes, yes. And which word means argument and talk about something?
Debate.
Debate, yes, good. Right, and which word speaks about maybe the way you stand up, or the way that you are maybe tall or not too tall, or standing straight?
Stance.
Stance, yeah, and for example, I've heard people say, "Don't take that stance with me," or "Why did you take that stance?" That kind of attitude or that way. Why did you take that view? So, right, I'm going to do some taboo speaking now. So that's the end of Sinclair for the moment. So I'm going to say, let's come and join the next class. If you're still around, I'm going to end this class and start the next one straight away. See you there, I hope.
Thank you for listening.
See you.